I declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the crimes code.
www.livetruthradio.com, the not politically correct radio broadcast. Oh yeah, come on over and join us to stand up, speak out, and get involved. The radio they don't want you to hear. Ha ha ha.
Create your own podcast. Spreaker has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcasts or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload your files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com. Broadcasting from FEMA Region 8, this is the American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the bullshit. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network right here on Spreaker.com. You can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. That would be absolutely fantastic if you would. Thank you very much. Yes, couple of show notes here from last night. The Truth Experience was on live, and we had a Wi-Fi issue. This is one of the reasons why I always encourage people to support American Liberty Radio Network. We have to upgrade the equipment around here and, have it much better for you. So we had a little Wi-Fi incident last night. So you've got part one of the Truth Experience with myself interviewing Nick Tucker. And it wasn't really an interview. It was a discussion of what's going on around us and just pointing out the obvious to people who can't, really see the obvious or want to see it. So that's the Truth Experience, part one from yesterday, the 22nd of June, 2017. And part two is coming up soon. We've got to, sit down and do the logistics on that and figure out what day we can, record that. But it will be next week. We do have, a life outside of our podcast, so we've got to sit down and find a time to do that. But it will be next week. I'm sure of that. That's the Truth Experience, part one, with Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. It's up on the site. It's up on American Liberty Radio. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's on The Truth Experience. Okay, The truthexperience.weebly.com. So it's there, and that's the site for the show. And so let me go look and make sure that it's there. Because of the glitch, I had to do some fancy footwork in the editor and, upload it to for you guys to hear. So there you go. The Wi-Fi is being really, really slow today in the studio, so the page is just taking its time. We need Wi-Fi on caffeine, but we don't. The question that I have today in the beginning of this podcast is how is the healthcare system in America looking with Donald Trump? This is something that we have to really take a look at. Now, Rand Paul talked about it and disagreed with the current healthcare bill that is going through the Senate and the House, and he disagrees with it. Basically, it's Obamacare light. I mean, that's what he talked about long before it was put through the Congress to talk about, and literally he pointed it out, and he disagrees with all of it. So I'll let you hear a clip of that. Yes, the Truth Experience Part 1 from the 22nd of June 2017 is on thetruthexperience.weebly.com under the Truth Experience podcast. So thetruthexperience.weebly.com, the Truth Experience podcast. Check that out. That's Part 1. We will have a Part 2 next week. The whole issue with healthcare is the fact that everybody wants it for free. Now, the reason why, and it's a good reason, a valid reason, is because it's too damn expensive. Okay? A single person working for a company can probably get health care for less, than $120 a month. Okay? Through their whole, if they go out and buy it themselves, basically is what it is. And that's what we're talking about, going out into the free market and buying it, for yourself. I know it's kind of a contradiction in terms, free market, free enterprise, but you got to buy it to get it. It just doesn't really make any sense to me. But it's you guys going out and buying your own health care. That's what we're talking about. But Rand Paul not really hated, but he dislikes the current makeup of the healthcare bill that is in Congress right now. And let me run. This is from Dennis Michael Lynch. He put it up. This is also Rand Paul on The Morning Joe on MSNBC. And here's what Rand Paul had to say.
Senator Rand Paul slammed the Senate Republicans' health care overhaul bill on Friday, saying it's Obamacare Plus, and it will not lower costs. He and Senators Cruz, Lee, and Wilson say they will not approve the bill as it is written today. Paul also called for the creation of a health care law that would reduce insurance costs to as little as $1 a day. Could you imagine that? Now, with the 4 senators showing the resistance, this doesn't help President Trump, because the Senate GOP leaders can only afford to lose 2 votes with their 52-member majority and still pass the bill. They also face pressure from senators who are worried that the legislation cuts too deeply into Medicaid. Now, here is what Senator Paul said earlier today when he appeared on Morning Joe.
Inexpensive insurance, you have to repeal the regulations. There's 12 regulations in Obamacare. We're repealing 2 of them. So we might be able to whittle the price down a little bit, but I don't think prices are going to come down at all. You have to let people buy what they want. Now, they're saying we're giving waivers to states, but what I'm hearing back is that many states won't accept it.
What happens to those people then if this becomes law? They're on Medicaid now. What happens to them?
Right. What I would like to do is legalize inexpensive insurance, and you should be able to get insurance for $1 a day.
I tend to agree with the senator. I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and this is DML Daily. Make sure you check in throughout the day for breaking news and more stories like these. Until then, please hit the share button. Thanks.
That was Dennis Michael Lynch. with the clip from, of course, you'd have to go see the whole thing on The Morning Joe, MSNBC, to get the whole context of what Rand Paul was talking about. But basically, on one hand, on one side of the healthcare issue, I agree with him. It should, be affordable. That's good, and what they have now is not. Okay, I agree with that. On the other side of this healthcare issue, I totally agree with him. It should be $1 a day, $30 a month, or, whatever, and could be lower than that too. And there has to be a way. Now, I don't know where to begin with this, but there has to be a way for people to buy their own health care, what they want. There needs to be a package that's affordable. $30 a month? I'll pay that, but what does it cover? You know what I mean? Does it cover catastrophic injuries? Does it cover overnight or, multiple day stays at a hospital? What does that cover? And so we're looking at that as well. He didn't go into that, but like I said, you can probably go find the whole episode, the whole segment on YouTube or some other place on MSNBC as well. And really, we have to get down to seriously understanding that there is a problem in this country. And the problem is, number one, overregulation. We've got everything in this country overregulated to the point of being unsustainable. Let me get to one of the points, and that is restaurants and other businesses that serve the public in California are now collapsing and folding and going bankrupt because they have to pay their people $15 an hour. That's not a healthcare issue, but that is a part of the issue where healthcare can be affordable. We have to have completely affordable healthcare. Now, Big Pharma and all of their constituents wrote the healthcare bill, wrote Obamacare, wrote the Patients Affordable Care Act. It's not affordable. It's not for the patients. Has nothing to do with care. And when you look at the word act in the PACA, that's what it is. It's an act. It's a facade. They're playing charades. And this whole healthcare issue can get solved by a whole sweeping of the whole healthcare bill, get completely rid of it, get rid of it completely, throw it in the trash, throw it away, and make a new one by the people, telling the hospitals and the doctors and the organizations and Big Pharma, give them a big giant FU and a big middle finger and say, I cannot afford what you want me to pay for health care. Here's what I can afford. And you tell them this. Now, of course, you're going to have rich people. Well, anybody making over $100,000 a year, I would say on average, can pay for their own health care and fork out a pocket for whatever they need. Okay? Even that is straining their finances, because when you look at most bills in hospitals on catastrophic injuries, you're looking at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. You see the overregulation? The overregulation by states and by the federal government causes the hospitals and the organizations, healthcare organizations, to raise their prices, which of course is passed on to you and I. Now, I've talked about the healthcare issue. A part of that is, how can we afford it when we're only making a little over minimum wage? Okay, well, here's how you can afford it. Scrap minimum wage altogether. Scrap it. Throw it out the door. Throw it into the trash. Fair market living wage per region. Fair market living wage per region. Okay? Now, how's that going to work? I don't know. You guys figure it out. But I use this example. If somebody in, let's say, Georgia, nice state over there, Georgia, Southern Hospitality and all them people. Love it. Friend of mine just moved there. You got somebody working in a warehouse at $12 an hour. Now, I don't know the cost of living in Atlanta or in other areas like Savannah or places like that. I don't know the cost of living. I have no idea. Somebody want to send me that information? I don't know the cost of living over there. But per the cost of living, just the basic cost of living, I'm not talking about having a Humvee in your driveway or a big old 55-inch screen TV in your house. I'm talking about basic mortgage rent, basic utilities, basic, put gas in the car, car insurance, internet, phones, just basic living. I'm not talking luxurious living. I'm just talking basic living, fair market living wage, just across the board. Now, in some regions, the cost of living is really high and the wages are low. And in some regions, the cost of living is really low, but the wages are kind of compensate for that. So what do? The person in the warehouse making $12 an hour is, making and struggling and, trying to pay health care and all this. The guy over in, Nevada making $9.50, $10 an hour, we're doing the same job that the guy in Georgia is doing, is making less in Nevada. So that wage has to come up. So I may be overlooking something and that may not work, but you guys tell me. You guys tell me, because all of this is theory. It's good on paper. So you guys crunch the numbers and you tell me, all right? Because I really want to know. I really want to know. I really want to see what you guys are seeing in this. I really want to know. Because there is that point at which everything that we can afford is going to be, affordable. But there's also, if it continues the way it is right now, that we can't afford certain things, healthcare, whatever, on the wages and salaries that we make, it's going to implode upon itself, and we're not going to be able to afford anything because our maximum outgo is not even going to help us. The maximum that we can pay is X, Y, Z, whatever it is, but with everything being overregulated, the cost being passed down to us and everything, that's going to go up, and we're going to be living in a van down by the river, as the late, it just really has to be totally and absolutely abolished. Minimum wage, healthcare, you name it, just completely get rid of it, and not rebuild, but build a new system based upon, number one, wages, number one, what people can afford, and also do not allow any of the attorneys or anyone in Washington, D.C. to ever put their finger into our business, whatever it is, healthcare, entrepreneurship, whatever. Get the government out of the people's business and allow free market to sustain itself through the engagement of people in society. Now, of course, you're probably going to say, yeah, you said it earlier. That's a good theory on paper. It's not going to work. Well, show me why it won't work. Show me why it won't work. You tell me why it won't work. Because I guarantee you it will. Again, theory. Again, we're looking at other variables involved here that I didn't mention. So you tell me why it won't work. You tell me why it will work. Crunch the numbers. Show me a comparison. Show me different salaries and different cost of living in different areas and all that. Show me why. I can tell you right now, making minimum wage, even at $15 an hour living in New York City, you ain't going to make it. Same thing with L.A. It's not going to happen. You go to places like Omaha, Nebraska, or Idaho City, Idaho, or something, and you're making minimum wage, you'll probably squeak by and be able to get, make a decent living. But you tell me what won't work and what will work. Okay? You can send all that information to American Liberty Radio at USA.com, American Liberty Radio at USA.com, or go on Facebook and go to American Liberty Radio Podcast, American Liberty Radio Podcast, or if you're listening to this on Spreaker, drop the information in the comment section down below. So anyway, let's get on to something else. Thank you, Dennis Michael Lynch. By the way, I want to give him credit where credit is due. Now, when we look at how the United States is moving at this point slowly, the gears are grinding quite slowly at this point, we have to look at other people involved in trying to take down Trump. We have to look at all of this and just put ourselves in a position of being objective. Okay? And I'm just, appalled at some of the things that these people are doing. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Here's, a couple of weeks ago, the globalist and wealthy billionaire, whoever he was, Zbigniew Brzezinski, passed away. And his daughter, Mika Brzezinski, is the co-host and fiance to Joe Scarborough on the Morning Joe on MSNBC. And today is posted on Infowars.com. Clifford Cunningham reports MSNBC's Brzezinski, quote unquote, developing dictatorship under President Trump. Fox News host offers to pay for unhinged Brzezinski's therapy. MSNBC host Mika Brzezinski suggested Donald Trump's administration is leading to the development of a dictatorship in the U.S. in another unhinged rant that prompted Fox News host Sean Hannity to offer to pay for her therapy. Quote, "This is unprecedented to have a president that behaves in this way," said Brzezinski, daughter of the late globalist architect Zbigniew Brzezinski. Quote, "It does feel like a developing dictatorship," unquote. Quote, "See, that's the sort of thing. That's an inside voice saying what you just said," unquote, her host and fiancé Joe Scarborough said. Quote, "No, it's not," unquote, she insisted. Quote, "You say you want to be like Greta Van Susteren, who's like Greta pulls back before she says things like that," unquote, he said. And she said, no, I'm going to actually channel Greta and have an even tone, but I will say you can do some work reading history and reading books about how dictatorships happen, the development of very negative forces taking over, and what you are seeing is either this happening right now or someone who's not well. That's a very few options," unquote. The liberal couple's hatred for President Trump and his administration is nothing new. She recently suggested that there are, quote, "no real men in the White House," unquote, willing to force President Trump to stop tweeting. After less than 2 months in office, Brzezinski called Trump's presidency, quote, "fake and failed," unquote. Scarborough called President Trump a schmuck, following his decision to invite Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton and Florida Senator Marco Rubio to the White House for dinner, prompting a Twitter exchange with Hannity. The pattern of unhinged behavior prompted Fox News host Sean Hannity to devote an entire monologue segment to Brzezinski and Scarborough, offering both his congratulations on their recent engagement and to pay for therapy for the couple to get over their hatred of President Trump. I'm not kidding you, folks. There it is. MSNBC hates Donald Trump. And I'm not backing down from that. MSNBC and the mainstream propaganda media all over the place, the 5 companies that own these organizations and these news outlets, hate President Trump, period. And they're not going to, they're not going to back down. They're not shy about it. They hate him. Why? Because they're disrupting their paradigm. They're disrupting. They're not only disrupting. They're exposing. They're being exposed is why they hate them. MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, everybody. They're exposing the reality of their own hatred towards Trump. And what they're going to do is they're going to implode because people like Sean Hannity, Greta Van Susteren, others, Michael Savage, Alex Jones, myself, Nick Tucker, Brian Lang, we're all going to just dogpile on this, sort out all the truth and the facts, throw it back in these liberal progressive faces and say, you guys are a bunch of freaking idiots, and watch them explode and watch all these news organizations go by the wayside and get thrown in the trash. There's a graphic that Late Night in the Midlands, Michael Varig uses on his when he posts some of his stuff. And it's a cart with all the networks in this cart. And it's just like, yeah, and it's getting thrown in the trash. It is. I mean, I have to tell you specifically right now that there is, honestly, there is nothing in this world that I would rather see than truth in journalism. I've taken journalism. There is, I can tell you right now, there is more spin and more deception in the current state of journalism than there has been in the last 40 or 50 years. In the last 10 years, it has increased to exponential levels, and we don't even know what the truth is anymore through the mainstream propaganda media. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. And I'm going to do something before the break, and I'm going to find an image that accurately depicts what this is. Okay? And I want you to see this because, and I found one, and I'm sure there's more, but I found one. So it's corporate media. It's what it is. It's it's what it is. Okay. And I've just now saved 2 images that I'm going to put on the American Liberty Radio podcast site. And it really depicts the history of propaganda. I'll do this during the break. I'll put it up there. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's propaganda. That's what it is. MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, everybody. It's just propaganda. And they've gone into Congress like several months ago, or maybe last year, a year or so ago, and they've gotten rid of a lot of the things that said it was against the law to have propaganda in the United States of America. I don't remember what act that was, so somebody fill me in. I don't have it in front of me. I'm noteless, prompter, free podcast here. I don't have notes. So anyway, so send that to me, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And I'll be back right after this. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website to go to. And don't go away. I shall return right after this. American Liberty Radio Network. Listener-supported online patriotic radio. With the new year upon us, the truth will be seen as fake news. and the lies from the propagandists of the mainstream media will forever be in the minds of those who have been indoctrinated with their disinformation. Your support of alternative and independent media is vitally important to the continuance of our freedom of speech and expression. It is very crucial that you consider supporting other media options. American Liberty Radio Network is supported by listeners. If you are a local business, consider supporting independent online patriotic radio with your advertising dollars as well. There are two options for you. One, you could advertise your product or service with us, or you can donate to the network. Consider contributing to independent media today. Consider American Liberty Radio Network. Contact us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com or go to our website at AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Distorted Reality. I am your host, Nick Tucker, and I welcome you to the broadcast.
Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. We the people have the power, for we are America. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There is a storm on the horizon, a time of hardship and pain. This battle has been won, but the war against the machines rages on. Skynet's global network remains strong, but we will not quit until all of it is destroyed. This is John Connor. There is no fate but what we make.
For 2 centuries, we've done the hard work of freedom. We lead the world in facing down a threat to decency and humanity. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future. The triumph of democratic ideas and the continuing struggle for freedom elsewhere all confirm the wisdom of our nation's founders.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Hey, folks, this is American Liberty Radio Network on the 23rd of June, 2017. Yes, this is American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. If you want to advertise on the network, please consider it. American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address to ask me any questions you have. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page, and all the information you need is right there. And if you don't want to advertise, that's okay too. You become a patron. Yes, become a patron. And drop $1 in the kitty so we can keep the lights on around here, all right? Cool. You guys rock, man. I'm just saying. Oh, my God. So many things are going on. So many things have developed over the years. And in my way of doing things, in my way of seeing things, in my way of gathering all of this information together, I have found a great deal of flaws in our federal government. And they're covering it all up. I don't give one rip what people think. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. No, they're covering it up. Okay? It's just... It's insane how the government wants to cover up all this stuff. They want to cover up the fact that... the President of the United States in 1941, 2 weeks before December 7th, 1941, and the bombing of Pearl Harbor, knew exactly what was going on. He finally got the information about a week or so before it happened, and he didn't tell anyone. Yeah, that's on record. Go look it up. Declassified information's out there. You just go find it, and it's there. Okay, might have to read between the lines, but it's there. All right. Let me go here. Let me change gears, go down this path. Chris Manahan, InformationLiberation.com, says MSNBC analyst compares Trump to a suicide bomber. Let me read that again and tell you exactly where this is coming from. InformationLiberation.com, Chris Manahan. It's on Infowars.com. MSNBC analyst compares Trump to a suicide bomber, according to MSNBC political analyst Elise Jordan. Supporting Trump is just like supporting a suicide bomber because he'll blow you up along with himself if you, quote, go out on a limb, unquote, for him. According to MSNBC, well, actually, Jordan was asked by MSNBC's Craig Melvin on Thursday to comment on the news that Trump said he has no tapes of his conversations with James Comey. Quote, earlier in the broadcast, Melvin said, quote, I said the president was bluffing. I may have been perhaps too fair. It would seem as if the president may have been lying all along about the existence of these tapes, unquote. Jordan responded, no, he wasn't wasting. He wasted the country's collective time speculating over whether these tapes existed or not. It's a sad day when you cannot depend on the president's words, unquote. Quote, my advice would just be to Republicans who do cozy up to him, it's just like hugging a suicide bomber. He'll blow you up in the process with him, unquote. A somewhat stunned Melvin responded, saying her comment sounded a little strong. And I will, there's a video there, but I will put the whole thing up on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you guys to check out. By the way, if you're down in the LA area, VidCon is happening. If you folks are up are into that and up for traveling, it's down in the Los Angeles area, VidCon this year. So check that out as well. Look that up, VidCon Los Angeles. You'll find it. It'll give you all the information you need. There you go. Little free plug for those folks down there. So anyway. Now, Guardian journalist accused of advocating riots tweets, quote, you know what to do, unquote, is in response to a story about police being able to cope with civil unrest. Yeah, that's That's from Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 23rd of June, 2017. A London Guardian journalist was accused of advocating riots in the response to a news story about how police wouldn't be able to cope with a new wave of civil unrest in the United Kingdom. Damien Gale, whose bio describes himself as a, quote, general news reporter for The Guardian, unquote, tweeted, quote, you know what to do, unquote, in response to a Guardian story headlined, quote, police would struggle to deal with a repeat of 2011 riots, senior officer warns, unquote. Numerous Twitter users alleged that Gale was inciting riots to achieve a political goal. Quote, folks, let me just point something out. To incite riots or to riot to achieve a political goal is terrorism. Quote, look, Guardian reporter setting up their own coverage of future riots to enable takedown of TM, unquote, tweeted journalist Katie Hopkins. I mean, it goes on and on and on. There's all this stuff, right? So I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. I cannot and will not accept anyone's assessment or assertion about me being a conspiracy theorist. I won't, because, number one, I'm not. Number two, it's all fact. That's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. To have the mindset like these far-left liberal loons have, to have this mindset that says that everyone on the fringes of government are a conspiracy theorist, and they don't know what they're talking about. To have that mindset is really, really, really a disturbing thing to see. And anyone who has that mindset is mentally ill. Ooh, assertion, accusation. No, seriously, if you look at those people in the mix of these liberals, these progressives, these Antifa people, these Black Lives Matter, even other people outside of that as well, or inside those groups as well, they're mentally ill. They're mentally ill, and they're propagating their BS to the rest of the people that, they know. In other words, they're preaching to the choir, but they're inciting these angry emotions, and they're saying, well, all those people over there on the fringe and independent media and all that, they're just conspiracy theorists. They don't know the truth. They don't. Yeah. Let me end that rant right here. We know the truth. We know the facts. We know you're a freaking idiot. How's that? It's just the way it is. Oh, you don't want anybody with a differing opinion than you. Yeah, I do, but I want them to sit down across from me with the information that we can talk about. For them to just sit down at the table and point fingers and accuse me of something, well, bye. I'm not going to spend 2 seconds in the same room with you. I'm going to get up and walk out. It's pointless. You see what I'm saying? So, and I have friends who are Sanders supporters, Hillary, and I look at them and go, why? And they have no idea. They're clueless. They're absolutely clueless. The only reason why they wanted Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were the fact they didn't want Trump. They have absolutely no idea the platforms that these people stand on, that Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders stand, or any number of people on that side of the aisle. They have absolutely no idea what their platform is. If you ask a Sanders supporter, Hillary supporter, whatever, if you ask them, why do you like these people so much and what do you believe they can offer you? It's going to break down in this way. 3 things that I've seen. Number 1, they want free stuff. Number 2, they want their voices heard. Basically, they want to drown everybody out and tell everybody else to shut up. And they want to, show everybody that they have the answers. They don't. They're dumb. The third thing is they want people like us, the independent media, the people who are, deep into looking into everything and pointing out the flaws, the faults, the truth, the facts. They want us in prison because they don't want our voices heard. Am I wrong? Have I overlooked something? I don't think so. I really don't. So there you go. A little note here for the show. Part 1 of the Truth Experience. It was a live broadcast last night, and we had some Wi-Fi issues, and it dropped. Part of it dropped anyway. The last few minutes of the show. We went on for another half hour after that. And for some reason, it didn't get recorded. It didn't, something happened, and I wasn't able to get the last half hour of the show. But part 1 of the Truth Experience from last night is up on thetruthexperience.weebly.com. Nick Tucker and I, my guest, Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker, was on last night. And we were talking about all this stuff, too. We were just having a discussion about what, the problems are, and here's who's causing the problems. That's basically what we were talking about. And so part 2 is coming up next week. We're going to, hopefully be able to take a night and just record another hour or so, and go from there and fill in the blanks of, things that we didn't cover in last night's live broadcast. But the Truth Experience... .weebly.com is the website to go check that out. Again, I had some Wi-Fi issues in the studio and basically it dropped. So that's why the upgrades are important around here. So if you can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com and go to the sponsors page and drop $1 in and become a patron and drop $1 in the kitty, and help us keep the lights on around here, we can upgrade and give you a better show and give you a better, just a better presentation of what we know and what is out there. And Nick Tucker's show, Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker, is on American Liberty Radio Network. So you can hear his show as well, that he does a podcast on his own at distortedreality.podbean.com. So anyway, part 1 of the Truth Experience from last night's live broadcast is up. You can go to thetruthexperience.weebly.com to check that out. And it was very, very enlightening up until the Wi-Fi dropped. And then we kept talking because I thought it was, I thought there was, thought it was recording and it wasn't. So there was a problem. So we're going to do a part 2. We're also going to do a part 2 on his podcast about the Illuminati in Hollywood, TV, and media. And yes, folks, the Illuminati does exist. It's still around. It's still, trying to undermine everything and, take over everything. It does exist. The late Zbigniew Brzezinski was part of all that. So we're going to talk more about that as well on his podcast. So again, folks, the Truth Experience.weebly.com, the Truth Experience Live. Part 1 is up on the site, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. So there you go. Hey, check out I want to say this as well. A friend of mine moved from Commie, California over to Georgia, and he took his network with him. Yes. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz with Tom Slick and his wife Arabella Fox. They're over in Georgia now. They packed up and left the decrepit state of California and are gone. And so Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz has a new home in Georgia. So go check out Mr. Tom Slick over at Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Their website is 926theblitz.rocks. 926theblitz.rocks. That's ROCKS. 926theblitz.rocks. And check out what's going on over there. You got a lot of, if you're an independent artist, independent filmmaker, independent musician, independent author, that's where you need to go. 926theblitz.rocks. And, yeah, I mean, check it out. Tell them I sent you. Yeah, so lots of things going on, folks. Lots of things happening in the whole of America. It's not just one thing over here. Well, it's everything. There are so many things happening around the country that, as I've said before, it seems like everything changes every 5 minutes. Okay? And it does get very overwhelming at times. It does. And literally, we get to that point of having massive anxiety attacks sometimes. And I know people out there that it happens to. What I want to say is that there is those moments where you take a little breather, you step back from the craziness of what's happening, and you look at the things objectively and you say, wait a minute, how am I going to survive? It's impacting me in this way. How am I going to survive? You can find those answers, literally. That's right there in front of you. Rand Paul, health bill is now Obamacare Plus. It subsidizes the death spiral. Legislation is propping up insurance companies. Appearing on Your World with Neil Cavuto, if I can speak correctly. Appearing on Your World with Neil Cavuto last night, Paul noted that the Republican legislation may actually provide more subsidies than Obamacare. Quote, when we look at the bill, we actually find that the Obamacare subsidies, not only are we keeping them, we may actually be providing more subsidies than Obamacare has. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast for you guys to take a look at. I'm not going to sit here and just, I'm not going to sit here and just talk about nonsensical crap. Okay, there are shows on Spreaker that do that, and if that's entertainment to them, more power to them. I'm good. Just yeah. So if there was anything, and I'll put it to you this way: if there was anything that I could say that could help you understand what is going on, it would be this. And I just mentioned it a second ago. Step back from all of it. You're like getting bombarded with information everywhere. Just step back, close the door, and look at yourself and say, wait a minute, that's impacting me in this fashion. I can survive this. And you know within yourself how to do that. Okay? And not only are you getting bombarded by MSNBC and all that, you're getting you're getting information from myself and from Nick Tucker and Alex Jones and Michael Savage, Brian Lang and many others in the independent field, and you don't know where to go. But something inside of you is saying, "Hey, wait a minute! That intuitive feeling you have is 100% correct." And when it points you in a direction, you can pretty much guarantee for yourself that that's the direction you need to go. There's no question about that. Your gut feeling, that intuitive process. You get the chills, the goosebumps on your arms. Yeah, you're doing something right. Or look at what's going on the liberal, communist, democratic, socialist side. And when you get a feeling like something out there is wrong, well, you're looking at it. You're looking at you're looking in the eyes of the beast, and the flames of liberalism are coming out of its mouth, burning you to the core. And you know this. You understand this. There's something wrong. Step back, close the door, shut everybody out, find out where you need to go, because your intuition is going to tell you where to go and what to do, and you need to pay attention to it. And I say it all the time. I've heard Nick Tucker, and I've heard Brian Lang, and I've heard Alex Jones say the same thing. You don't have to believe us. Don't believe us. Go out and check this stuff out yourself. You know exactly where to look. You know what to do. You know, so that's all I can say to help you understand what's going on and how to take care of the problem. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to do that. Okay? Let's run over to Breitbart really quick and see what's going on over there. Yeah. Legacy online. Obama returned to campaign trail to save Dems. Yeah, nobody's going to listen to him except for the brainwashed, indoctrinated a-holes that are out there that I'm sure want to listen to him. This is Breitbart reporting this. Trump's deputies quietly pushed transgender ideology onto schools. Feinstein defends universities shutting down speech. L.A. wants to rename Rodeo Obama Boulevard. Yeah, Rodeo Drive. Yeah, watch that happen, folks. Tom Brokaw, GOP organized moving forward. Mexico to Trump. American drug demand causes cartel violence. And campus anti-Israel sentiment explodes. That's all on Breitbart under trending now. I will put that link right in the American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. So just check it out, folks, because you're going to see the idiocy of the left. I mean, when I'm talking idiocy, I'm talking they're just stupid. They have no idea. What now? Let me retract that and say this. They're smart people because they know how to undermine America. They know how to tear down peace, freedom, liberty, and security. They know how to suppress speech. They know how to do all this stuff. But then how are you reacting to it? How are you developing the ideas that will go beyond their complete stupidity and make America great again, to borrow the phrase from President Trump? How are people going to get over that barrier, get beyond that barrier, get through that barrier? Because you know darn well when they speak, when the left loons speak, people hear them. So how are we going to objectively, what are we going to do objectively to bring ourselves into the area where we can all come together and say, we have to stop this right now? How are we all going to do that? I don't know. So that's why I'm asking you. So anyway, again, folks, part 1 of The Truth Experience is up at thetruthexperience.weebly.com. Part 1 of the live broadcast from last night. Had some issues with the Wi-Fi, so hey. So anywho, we got that up. Nick Tucker was my guest, so check that out. Let me know what you think. Let him know what you think as well. Go to Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and on Distorted Reality NT. That's Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality NT on gab.ai, and let him know what you think. So, got to get out of here, folks, because, you know, I got things to do outside the studio. I got a life, you know. I love doing this. I love bringing you the information. And but I spend sometimes way too much time in the studio. Okay, so I got things to do around here. If you want to support American Liberty Radio Network, please consider it. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com and become a patron. Drop $1 in the kitty so we can get some, keep the lights on around here and fix our technical issues. That's AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page. If you want to sponsor the network, that's great. If you want to advertise on the network, awesome. All the information is on the sponsors page at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Folks, I don't know. We're going to see more of this and it's going to be there. And you know what? I'm out of here. This is American Liberty Radio Network for the 23rd of June, 2017. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.